From the screens to each and every airways. Welcome, welcome, welcome back, all of my American beauties. Whether if you are here for the first time or joining us from any conversation, from the pilot episode to the recent episode, that was my birthday. You are back with me. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but you chose to be here with us right here for another conversation on the People's Princess Podcast, the place that provides intimate and intentional conversations surely to make you feel like royalty. I am your host, the HPIC, or the head princess in charge, and your people's princess, Amaya Kai, coming to you all live from the palace. Y'all, can we just, I don't know if y'all know that meme, but can we fill this room with thank you just for a second? I don't know if it's just anything in advance. I say thank you right now in this moment for what I'm about to talk to y'all about, but also in advance because y'all, the day y'all will be listening to this is my last day of my freshman year at Fort Valley State University. I can't believe it. I literally just moved in August 8th and now it's May 8th. It's insane. I literally just came here from Chicago and I've experienced so much. God, I thus say thank you because I would have gave up, but I never would have made it without you. But y'all know I can't sing. It's okay. I just want to start off by reading this. Do not make fun of me. I am not Shakespeare, but I know my way with words. And I will be reading you all a letter that I typed and handcrafted and entitled it Dear Freshman Year. And it go a little something like this. Dear Freshman Year, what the heck was that? You seem to open me up to a place that I never want to speak of again. I came in excited, determined, and confident that I would experience something I can talk about for years. Instead, I felt like I was on an episode of Law and Order trying to solve a mystery as to why everything went left. Cupid shuffle left. There were no kicks. I did not walk. I just went left every day. It just went. But that's not the point. That's not the point. I lost people, a bit of confidence, time, and most importantly, myself. I saw so much for myself that was deterred by others who I thought would be there for me when they weren't. Name in rooms that didn't like me. Tears flowing like Niagara Falls. Not exaggerating. Late nights doing a stack of work. Not feeling like I belonged. And so much more. Yet, you gave me something that I'll surprisingly say thank you for. You gave me the opportunity to give my life to Christ, receive my mentor that loves me like a sister, gain new friends in circles that pray on my behalf, be loved by people that didn't even know me, receive love when I didn't deserve it, invite me to some of the smallest yet craziest events, improvised fun, and discover that overall, there is something in me that I didn't see in myself. You might have had me hooked in chains in the first half, yet I ended up wrangling you in to win again. When I will look back at this to tell the story to my future kids with their aunts, uncles, and godparents, I will tell them that although my experience was not the type you see in media, but I am, always will, and forever will be the testimony that anyone can transform their story and come out the victor and be an inspiration to many who will listen. So for that, I say thank you. And unfortunately, here lies my freshman year at the Fort Valley State University from a future sophomore, Amaya Kai. I really wanted to do that because, y'all, I really wanted to just do something different and give the freshmen, shout out to the class of 2024, by the way. because y'all have really done it. But this next journey in your life does receive a lot of courage, a lot of prayer, and a lot of tears. But that is why this conversation is tailored to you. And without further ado, let's get into today's conversation, which is entitled Dear Freshman Year. You know the rest. But today I wanted to give you guys a few special gems from, of course, myself. And also there might be an announcement at the end of this about this episode specifically. And I hope you guys stay for the end of that. But yeah, to start off, I would just like to tell you all, with the decisions that you made, be proud of that. It's very important that you don't let anybody who has not taken the path you're on let you know that you did the wrong thing. Because it goes without saying, college may not be for everybody. And that is okay. But also be proud that you are still doing something with your life. You could have done something that could have turned the trajectory of your life around and put you in a spot where you don't want to be in. But if you do, or even if you don't believe in God, just thank the higher power for protecting you. Because you could have been dead and gone, but you weren't. And that is something that you should always be grateful for. But next point on the docket is be intentional with everything that you do. It goes without saying that when you first come into college, there will always be, a little organization fair where they tell you the objective of the organization or the club. And at first, everything might seem interesting to you because a lot of people may tell you, do almost everything in college. I'm here to tell you, don't do it. Because those clubs will be there every year until you graduate. And it's very important that you join the spaces that will truly not only fit your personality, but will allow you to balance them. Because as a biology major, I will tell you right now, those classes will kill you. But with the balance that you're going to learn about, whether if it's in your first semester or even just the second semester of freshman year, it's very important that you learn quickly how to manage your time. Because one day you could just be sitting around your room watching TV or just doing something, be like, oh yeah, this is great, I have nothing to do. Then the next day your teachers are like, okay, you have a paper due at 11:59. Be prepared, which will go into the next gem I have, is to be prepared at any given time for anything. There can be a surprise resume workshop. There can be somebody from a news station giving an interview. There's always something going on, especially at an HBCU campus. So with that, be mindful and be considerate of who you are and, most importantly, what you want to achieve. Because with that idea in mind, you have to make sure that when there's an opportunity, or look at it like this, when God opens a door for you, get it then and there. Because once that door closes, there will be a chance that it can open back up. It might not be at the time when you're supposedly ready. And it's very important to be ready when the time comes. And just most importantly, bring yourself. And with that, be authentic. Authenticity is very big in college. And I speak from experience because for those who do not know, I am not only the outgoing freshman class secretary, I am now the sophomore class secretary of my class. And I have learned that being authentic is very important because people will always see you in your position. But sometimes it's very important to open up as you know yourself, because they may see you one day and they'll be like, hey, secretary. And this is me being me again. Like, sometimes I could just be sitting down. They'd be like, hey, secretary. I'm like, hey, how you doing? Like, just be yourself. And just most importantly, be kind in those positions, because people are looking for a person to not only look to or just open up to, but also be a friend, because I've made a lot of acquaintances and some of my actual new friends that way because they actually saw me around, or like they're like, hey, are you secretary? Can I ask you a question? And I just end up sitting down with them and having a long hour conversation, and that's okay because I enjoy those things. So with that being said, always make sure to be authentic and be open to new opportunities. Which brings me to my next point. For anybody who is running, prepare. And most importantly, network. When it comes to these positions in SGA, Royal Court, or any organization, there will always be an opportunity for you to network with anybody. And for those who do not know what networking is just a little way to introduce yourself to those in the HBCU circuit, PWI circuit, job force circuit, or just any circuit in general when it comes to the industry that you would like to work in the future. It's very important to network with any and anybody, and most importantly, be marketable. I know that has never been said, but when it comes to yourself and what you have to offer, I've heard this before and I really taken this to heart. You have 1 minute and 30 seconds to be impressive. What are you going to do? And with that 1 minute and 30 seconds are elevator pitches. And with that elevator pitch, you have to be able to, without revealing everything, show yourself off, brag about yourself, but also be humble, because there will be opportunities that will apply to you and only you. And this is also crazy as well. A teacher that I had last semester, I haven't seen her in a minute. She emailed me and gave me a brochure for an internship and said, good morning. I know we haven't seen each other in a while, but I really thought of you when I saw this. And that was really just a blessing to me. But also it's a testament to who I am as a person. So with that, I want you all to take in what you can and also be impressive with everything. And first impressions are everything. When you first step onto campus, you can be excited, you can be ambitious, but most importantly, you have to make sure that you're doing it for the right reasons. And with those right reasons, you have to be able to, like I said previously, market yourself, but in that marketing moment, be able to market yourself in a way that will separate you from the crowd. There will be times at school where they have little workshops that ask you the question of, hey, you might be in a room of your peers and there may be somebody who's looking for, I don't know, say an intern to be at their institution or even just at a job in general, whether if it's in-state or out-of-state. They're going to ask you, what makes you different? And with that question, you have to be able to not only expand on that, but say things that nobody has ever said. And I said that with you all because when you market yourself, you have to be able to be impressive, but most importantly, be authentic and be intentional, which is why everything I say is going to connect in a way at the end of this. But just keep following along if you can. And it's very important for you to just know that off the bat. And this goes into my next gem for you all, is to not only know your why, but practice your why. In the art of knowing your why, sometimes we may lose ourselves in where we are. But at the same time, I know for me, I always get motivated by my purpose. And at first, when I heard know your why, I was like, okay, that means, why am I here at college, or why am I here anywhere I went? But at the end of the day, if you know your why and you can't practice it or see yourself in that why, then you need to reevaluate. Because the reason why I say practice your why is because you have to be able to see yourself in the position that future you will be at. For example, I didn't see myself doing the People's Princess podcast, formerly known as Princess Coded, the podcast. I did not see that for myself. But many people saw me and they were like, you have such great advice. You're so wise. You're very well spoken. I feel like you should go to a better circuit. And once I did that, I started seeing why, because sometimes God will use people that you don't even know to speak to you and allow you to explore something that probably you never even thought of yourself doing or just seem interested in, but it became something that you enjoy. And with that, I go into the point of develop a deeper relationship with the Lord. I am a Christian. I will say I am a rededicated Christian. I rededicated my life to Christ again in September, the week before I got inaugurated, because I grew up in a church family. My uncle's a pastor, and I've always went to church, but I always felt disconnected from God. And there's some things also as well where, I will be honest, I was lukewarm. Like, some parts of me wanted to belong to, what everybody wanted else to do, but at the same time, I didn't want to. And so when I gave my life to Christ, I'll tell y'all, I boo-hoo cried because it just felt so good. And with the church home I have, shout out to GCOP, which is my church home here in Fort Valley. It's very important to have somebody who will be there for you spiritually, because if there are times when you cannot pray, your pastor can pray over you, your church family can pray over you, your family can pray over you. And it's just very important to understand that those prayers that your grandma prayed, your dad, your mom, your uncle, your family prayed over you, those prayers are heard. And although it may not seem like it, those prayers are working for your good, in that there is always a purpose in every prayer. And you can always call out to God. God desires a relationship with you. And most importantly, for those who might even know how to get saved, I will do this right now too, because you never know. But there will be times where, when you are thinking about being saved or just being baptized in general, you have to be willing to open your heart up to actually accept it. And for those who are watching, there is a way to, get into a relationship with Christ, and I will tell y'all right now how it is. And so, I don't know the exact verse, but I think it's Romans 10:9. I will look it up after this and put it in here as well for anybody who needs it. But it is a verse that says, if you believe in your heart and you confess with thy mouth that Jesus rose from the dead, from the grave, and came as our Savior to die for people like you and me for our sins, you will be saved. And also if you accept Jesus into your heart, because as I stated previously, he wants to hear from you, and it's very important that you open your heart up, because college is a beast. But with that beast, you have to be able to be content. And most importantly, being content has so many different meanings, which I will go into later. But when you are content where you are with your relationship with God, he will fulfill your needs. He will fulfill everything that you desire if it's in his will. And with that being said, be content. When it comes to being content, there will be moments in life, and I will be honest as well, there's some moments in life where you think, oh yeah, I'm going to go get it. Like, somebody's going to go help you. But at the same time, there are some things that are not going to go your way. There are some people that will be on the chopping block and will be evicted. If you watch Big Brother, then you know the reference that I'm talking about. But it's me being honest in this place, because there are times when you will see yourself on top of the world and then you just fall. But in those moments, be able to praise God. Be able to say, God, I thank you for what wasn't. There might be times where you want to go back home. There might be times where, you want to cry in your room. But God always encourages you to just keep going. And I thank God that I kept going, because there are times where you want to give up. There are times where you just want to throw in the towel. You don't want to go to class. You don't want to wake up. But setbacks always are in a major comeback, whether it's academically, spiritually, emotionally, and physically. And it's very important that you learn how to be content. And most importantly, this next tip is very not really spoken about, but I feel like it's important to talk about it now, especially with how I am as a person and what I've learned. Whoever you go anywhere with, leave with them, please. Because college parties and events, if they are off campus, they will get rowdy very quickly. And it's very important that you have a tight-knit friend group that will care for you and will, look out for you, and most importantly, not do anything to harm you. Because I will expand on it and say, choose your friends wisely and be discernful. For those who do not know what the word discernment actually means, I will gladly explain it and tell you all that. Discernment is basically just when God gives you a way to see if things are lined up with his will. And the reason why that is important, because many people may not have your best intentions at heart, may have your morals. And I feel like it's very important because I faced it myself. I'm the type of person who's always been so sweet, who always will let anybody in, but I always end up getting hurt because I was just like, well, I've always been nothing but nice. But I'm here to let y'all know that sometimes your spirit will irritate many demons unknowingly, and many demons will be awakened at a unexpected time. So with that moment, be able to discern with God, or just have a conversation with God and like, God, do you want me here? Do you want me to do that? And trust me, he won't answer quick if he don't want you there. Because if you don't know, wrong place, wrong time is definitely really college. It really is. But it's more terrifying now because that's all you see. And you have to be able to put your pride aside and just make sure that everybody who is with you, whether if you are by yourself or just if you are with other people, that everybody involved is okay. The next thing that I will definitely say is, I'm trying to make sure I didn't say it again, but definitely connect with your teachers. Even though I did say network, but connect with your teachers. What many people do not tend to realize is that teachers are humans as well. And they actually desire a relationship with you too. A lot of the teachers that I've had for fall and spring semester, I have really good relationships with them now. Like sometimes if I see them, they be like, hey, Amaya, how you doing? Like that is what you want, because there will come a time if you want to do anything, that thing I'm talking about, you will know later on. They will have to either give you a recommendation or a letter that says, hey, this is what this person has done. Going back into the first impression, you want to make sure that the impression that you leave them with is good. And with that goes into another point. I'm trying to let me find it. I'm talking about let me find it. My bad, y'all. But no, literally, make sure that you are on top of your classes. For me, man, I got scared about my own air freshener. I'm sorry, y'all. But no, literally, when it comes to school, you want to make sure that you are in the right place. You want to make sure that when it comes to your teachers and it comes to the work, you understand everything, because teachers in college are very particular and detailed about what they want, because there is something that they will tell you during syllabus week is that this ain't high school. What might have flied in high school ain't gonna fly here. So with that, you have to be able to, in those moments, Be able to ask your teachers in those moments when you're falling. You're like, hey, I need help. Like, can I do this? Can I do this to get help? And most importantly, go to your office hours. Office hours are amazing. I went to a couple of my teachers' office hours, and when I tell you, I have truly enjoyed myself, because when I'm in the office with my teacher, I always just have a fun conversation. And with those conversations, you learn so much about your teachers that you didn't even think would be interesting to learn about. And most importantly, that also goes into your extra credit, which goes into another thing. Take advantage of extra credit opportunities. It might be unheard of, but college does actually give you extra credit opportunities. One was you had to go to a game, and you had to go take a picture and show you was there. That really helps your grade. And also, most importantly, for my biology majors in the future, please go to lab. That also goes into your grade. And that's kind of like extra credit too, because it could boost your grade. And I know everybody want to start off strong their freshman year with that 3.9, 4.0 GPA. Make sure you keep it up. This also goes into a new point that I would like to bring up, which is very important in today's world. Know when to say no, please, because not everything that can be seen as good is good for you. Because everybody may try to offer you something that may seem good, but you also need to think about the future part of yourself. Whether if it's in whatever you choose to indulge yourself in, it's okay, but make sure you do it in moderation and carefully. I don't endorse it, but I endorse having a good time before we get old and you're like, dang, I did nothing in college. But it's very important to understand the risk and the consequences if you do not do it carefully. And I'm not going to say what it is, because there are younger kids on here, and I want to make sure that, they understand. They will know when they're older, but yeah. Knowing when to say no is a very intricate art when it comes to college, because there will be some crazy lunatics that will, try to convince you to do something that you don't want to do, but you have to be ready at that moment, because you don't want to do it, and then you end up not being who you want to be in the future. And that goes back to discernment, because not everybody is deserving of who you are, but most importantly, not everybody is deserving of your spirit. Because I'm a firm believer in the idea that when it comes to us, everything comes in the spiritual first, then it will happen in the physical. That's why you have to be open spiritually to accepting what God says, because there will be times where God's going to give you a warning. And I know y'all be praying them prayers. Y'all know that prayer where it's like, God, you know the rest. But you have to be willing to, accept that no, because that no will save your life. And there will be a time when you wake up and you hear about it and you just be like, that was about to be me. And I've had those moments, but I thank God for exposing me to that and just exposing me to what is an art of saying no. And I mean it. It's truly an art to say no, because it's truly important now in this world that we live in, because the world is so evil, but we don't tend to exercise that, because it seems like everything is so fun and interesting, especially in college, because you want to just have fun. It's your first time being away from your parents. But at the same time, not all fun is fun. Sometimes the fun could be you end up in the hospital. Sometimes the fun is that you lose friends. Sometimes the fun is that you end up in an isolation season. And with that isolation season, be willing to understand that it's not your fault. God is refining you. He is allowing you to be in a space where he wants to see you. It's not like a jail sentence either, but it's just me being real with myself, because I've had the isolation season. My isolation season, I was in my room for a long, long time. I still am, but I've learned how to find the beauty in the isolation season, and also being in the isolation season, finding the right people that will really actually love you. And it goes without saying now, as we transition into this new point, I wouldn't really say choose your friends wisely, but learn how to properly distribute your time. It goes without saying, because of the reason being that everybody does not deserve you, as stated previously. But when it comes to your time in college, you might not have a lot of time to, enjoy everything. That's why choose your classes wisely too, because you want to make sure you have a schedule that will allow you to adjust if something goes wrong. For me, for example, this schedule this semester for me actually really worked out, because I had a class on Monday at 10 a.m. in the morning, and then the rest of my day was free. So I was able to do my homework, make me some breakfast, be in my room, clean up, or just do whatever I had to do. The next day I had my public speaking class and my bio class hours later. So that also gave me a window to do my homework. But also just give time to yourself to either relax, do a self-care day, a do nothing day, as my mom said. It really helps. Like, just have a day to do nothing, relax, enjoy yourself. It just be in the moment, because sometimes there are moments that you need to be in that will introduce you to new concepts, new moments, new exciting things for you that will be exposed to you later on. But you have to be able to see it come to fruition before it's your time. And also, make some good friends. When I say good friends, have a good mixture of friends. Have a mixture of friends who dance. Have a mixture of friends who are in SGA. But also, make friends that will lift you up. Because with those, you're learning things about the things that you want to do in the future. I didn't see myself, wanting to do so much in the future, but with my friends that I had in SGA, Royal Court, those who I've met who are in the same positions as me. Shout out to my sister secretaries. Love them down. And everybody else who I've met at any other HBCU, PWI, I love y'all. Because it's so important to connect with everybody who is not like you. Because you get to go see a new perspective on life, and you get to go, learn about different styles that are introduced at different HBCUs, whether if it's a bigger campus or a small campus. But it's okay to just be around others. And who knows, maybe there might be a game and you actually get to go see them. But also, support any and everybody, because I've always been the type to support anybody, and I've always seen that everywhere at the HBCU. They always say, support your HBCU students, support your fellow teachers. And there is a time where it comes around and it's a competition called the Retool Your School Home Depot. You got to make sure you support your school. But I'm being so for real, because that money that I believe we got is going to help us out. So make sure that you're very involved on campus. And with you being involved, you're being intentional with being involved on campus. Because, and I'm going to be real, not everything is for you. Not everything will appeal to your interests. Not everything will appeal to your purpose and your why when you're at school. But it's okay. It's very important to know that there's a space for everyone. And with that space that is being offered to you, make that space your own. As I spoke about in my Taylor Making the Missing Rooms episode, you are not multi-purpose. You may think you're multi-purpose, but you're not. Because not everyone is meant to lead in your style of leading. I've learned that about myself. When it came to my freshman year of SGA, me and my fellow cabinet members, shout out to Claire, by the way, too, we've learned so much about each other because I was the only one out of state. Everybody else was from Georgia. But we learned how to encompass all of our attributes and our talents to create some amazing events and some amazing initiatives that I hope I get to learn from and continue as a second time secretary. And with that, I want to introduce this one as well. Make sure that when you run, you put yourself first, because campaign week in itself is crazy. I know, because I believe that week I had my first podcast live taping, but that wasn't really live though. That was on Instagram. And then I had to do an event with my friend Sanaya, and then I had meet the candidates. I had the speeches. I had so much to do that week. I didn't even have time to myself, and I also had a whole bunch of homework, which got done. But at the end of the day, I say that to say, when it comes to campaign week, put yourself first and do not doubt yourself. There may be some things that others will try to do, or just even yourself, because self-sabotage is real. I almost self-sabotaged myself. I almost ended up getting out the race. But God and a lot of my friends and my mentors have told me was, be confident. You've earned a position before. You got it. And with that, I do want to say, for anybody who does want to run, you don't have to run with a group. You don't have to run by yourself. But when you do run intentionally. I like that. Okay, Chloe. Nike should do that. You know what? I'm going to put this in the atmosphere. Or not even Nike. I feel like I should do that with a lipstick or lip gloss line. But instead, no. You know what, y'all? Here's another thing. Be delusional. Don't be that delusional. Don't be delusional to where your head up in the clouds. But be delusional in the sense that you about to do some big things. Delusional is kind of cool to God, because what I've learned is that when you pray those crazy prayers sometimes, it ends up happening. I remember the first delusional prayer I've ever prayed. I don't know what it was exactly. When it comes to me, I'll tell about it more. But when it comes to that delusional prayer, sometimes that delusional prayer will put you in a place that you need it to be. And with that delusional prayer, I realized how much I have grown. I've realized how much I desire to lead and be an inspiration, because for me, I am the inspiration that little Amaya should have had. Because of course, growing up, I had Disney, I had Princess Tiana, I had my aunt, I had my mom, I had my grandmother, I had my dad, I had all my, and even my little sister. My little sister inspires me, man. But you have to be willing that as you are being inspired, inspire your own way. Because I've heard this from a student leadership summit I went to yesterday. Shout out to Mr. Walker as well. Love him. He's very sweet. He basically said, many people may try to train up someone. And there's also a Bible verse on that too. It says, train a child in the right ways and it will never depart from it. But also sometimes, as you will be trained up, there are some things that might not stand right to you. And with those ways that don't feel right to you, just be willing to change them, but change them your way. Because many people, when they are being inspired, they want to look for something new. They want to look for something that will make them stand out and be like, oh, okay, if I do that, everybody gonna have that. And I feel like with me in my podcast, I never knew how much I could inspire people. I never knew how much I could inspire people when I was secretary for freshman year, and now I'm secretary again. I plan to inspire on a bigger level, because I know the plans that God has for me, and they are plans to not harm me, but they are to prosper me, and plans for a good future and a hope. And I know that God has bigger for me, because when you think bigger, when you pray bigger, and when you work for bigger, and when you fast for bigger, it will come to you. And I feel like I didn't really hear that a lot. And I feel like we have to start talking in that sense now, because there will be people that are looking for the inspiration, but they don't know how yet to be inspired. Or just find somebody that will truly inspire them. And when you are an inspiration, people will know that. Even if you've never been inspired before, and even if you are learning still, you can still be an inspiration. And that's something that I can encourage you all to do. And the one last thing that I will leave you all with is this. When there is a will, there is a way. Sometimes your freshman year, you may look and you're like, did I do this right? Am I doing my freshman year right? And it's real because I've had that moment. There's some times where I was sitting in my room crying. I was like, man, I had a terrible freshman year, but thief is the comparison of joy. And with that joy comes being content, and with being content comes blessings, because you might not have had a great experience, but you will be able to tell your testimony to somebody that have gone through that same situation or will be going through that same situation. And it's important to learn from those mistakes and learn from those lessons to doing bigger and better and just receiving all that is for you. And most importantly, what God has for you will show up at the right time. And that goes without saying as well, because many people may not believe in, God's power or God's quickness. Because I've learned this too. God is an on-time God. He is so on time that you could be sitting down one day and he blesses you out of nowhere. That's how on time he is, especially in college, because there could be a time where you feel like, dang, I worked so hard, and you just, during finals week, you're just like, dang, I don't know if I'm going to get a bad grade or a good grade, and your grade end up good. But God loves to honor those that will truly trust in him and say, God, I trust you. That's another delusional prayer. You can say, God, I don't know what's going on, but I trust you with my freshman year. And you will end up having an amazing time. And I say all of these tips to say that your freshman year is what you make it. There might be some bumps in the road. There might be some crashes. There might be crash outs. But at the end of the day, if you come out of it stronger and you become who you needed to be, then you have done correct. And with that, I can't believe it. This is my last episode in my room. But I don't say that in sadness. I say that with gratefulness because, like I said, I didn't see myself doing this. I didn't see myself doing a podcast. I didn't see myself being on my mid-season finale. That too. So this is the last time you guys will be hearing me for a while. The rest of the season will be interviews that I have yet to release because my computer went to computer heaven, but then they fixed it. So, yay. I cannot wait to release all of these interviews with you guys and just let you all meet the people that I've interviewed. They are truly such beautiful spirits. They are truly people that the world needs to see, and that I cannot wait to, for you all to fall in love with what we've talked about. And the announcement that I have is, drum roll, please. I didn't even do the thing. Hold on. Season 2 of the People's Princess podcast will be beginning to be shot in August when I come back from Fort Valley. Excuse them outside, y'all. But yeah, season 2 will be coming in August, and I am officially opening my doors of the palace to have anybody who would love to be on the show on it. And if you would like to be a co-host, I'll be giving you guys the instructions here and most importantly on all social media platforms. And in order to be on the show, all you have to do is just text me with anything that you are looking to do or just talk about, and I will make that happen. And also, most importantly, sign the guest and the release form, which will be talked about more on social media. But I just want to give you all the biggest thank you. Thank you for letting this young girl from Chicago lead you and just love on you all, even in my darkest moments. And that this is just the beginning for the People's Princess podcast. I see us going further. I see us going live, like doing live shows and stuff and getting nominated for awards for this. But with me being 19 and doing this right now, I believe I'm the youngest to have a podcast at my age. And although it might not seem like it right now, I have a lot of fans. And I cannot wait to gain so many more American Beauties. And to my Fort Valley State family, thank you for joining me. I love you all. Thank you for those who have done interviews with me virtually. Thank you. I'm very excited to release these. Once again, season 2, August. And this is the last time I will be saying this before I enter season 2. I want to leave you all with this. Be intentional. Be gracious through everything. Trust God in everything. Consult with God. Be content. And most importantly, if you have a dream, go after it. Finance it. Find the right people. And trust me, you're going to be great. Shout out to my manager. Shout out to my content specialist. Shout out to the brand consultant. I love y'all. But thank you to everybody who has loved on the People's Princess. I will always be the People's Princess everywhere I go. And I will always love my American Beauties. I just want to say toast to a great season 1 and to season 2, which will be bigger, better, and so much more included. You do not want to miss season 2. You do not want to miss these interviews. But I close out by saying, for anybody who is going through anything, I am praying for you. I love you. If you have not heard that, there is a number that is 988. All mental health needs can be answered with that. Of course, as the host, you guys have my Instagram. For those who know me personally, you have my number. You have everything that can be reached out to me, because you all matter to me as my audience. And if you do not follow me already, follow me on the Amaya Kai at all social media platforms. Follow the podcast on People's Princess Podcast at all social media platforms. And most importantly, if you are watching the visual, thank you for watching the second visual, guys. It's truly been a pleasure doing this again. After all the times I said I was going to record, but I didn't, but now I did. To People's Princess Podcast, to the place that makes you feel like royalty. With every single conversation we have, there will be more. I love y'all. And I will see you guys on season 2 of the People's Princess Podcast, the place that provides intimate and intentional conversations, surely to make you feel like royalty. I can't believe I'm saying that for the last time. Let me stop. Stop being sentimental. But seriously, y'all, thank you. A toast to us. Season 1 is one and done, and that is a wrap. I love y'all. I am your host, Amaya Kai, as it says on my light. I love y'all. Bye.